Tensions are heating up at McLaren as they chase Max Verstappen's team in the Constructors Championship with only 8 points separating them. But the real focus is the Drivers' Championship, and McLaren may have to make some tough choices. Should they back Lando Norris, who's closer to the title? Or will Oscar Piastri, with his strong performances, fight for his own chance at glory? The pressure is on, and the rivalry between teammates is starting to show. Piastri has proven to be a strong competitor, which could lead to internal battles within McLaren. The big question is whether this will create tension, similar to the toxic atmosphere the team experienced in 2007. McLaren has made significant progress in both championships this season, but their tactics could have been better in the earlier races. Had they played their cards right, the gap between Verstappen and Norris could have been around 30 to 40 points instead of the current 62. Although Norris has managed to reduce the gap by 16 points in the first 2 races after the summer break, he could have closed it even more if Piastri hadn't raced him so aggressively in turn 4 at Imola. This forced Norris to brake hard and lose his position to other drivers, showcasing the potential risks of in-team battles moving forward. Piastri's role and team dynamics. It's understandable that McLaren faces a tricky situation with Oscar Piastri. A driver of his caliber, having won Formula Renault F3 and F2, is not someone who would easily settle for a number 2 role. Piastri's success is due to his competitive nature, not his willingness to play second fiddle. However, this competitive drive could fuel internal rivalry, creating tension between him and Lando Norris, which could hurt McLaren's chances of winning the Drivers' Championship. Ironically, this internal McLaren rivalry is working in favor of Max Verstappen. While both McLaren drivers are now finishing ahead of him more often, Piastri is also taking points away from Norris. For example, at Monza, Norris lost 10 points in one corner due to race developments, partially because McLaren's strategy wasn't perfect, as Ferrari's one-stop tactic worked better. Though those 10 points weren't guaranteed, this shows how internal competition can have real consequences. As Piastri continues to challenge Norris, McLaren faces a tough decision. Should they allow the rivalry to continue or step in with team orders? The issue is already causing friction within the team. Team principal Andrea Stella and CEO Zak Brown reportedly have differing views on whether team orders should be implemented for the rest of the season. Andrea Stella, McLaren's team principal, has been clear about the team's goals for the season. He stated, "We have to acknowledge that not only the Constructors' Championship is possible, but with the performance we have at the moment in the car and some of the struggles we see with Red Bull, even the drivers, is definitely possible. If we want to achieve both, we need to put the team and Lando in a position to pursue both championships." Both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri are mathematically still in the fight for the championship, but from a strategic standpoint, Norris has the best chance. Stella added, "If we want to give support to one driver, we have to pick the one in the best position. This reflects the growing possibility that McLaren may have to prioritize Norris if they are serious about competing with Verstappen for the title." Despite the rising tensions within the team, Lando Norris appears unfazed by the situation. He's remained calm and composed, not allowing the pressure to get to him. Even when he had to give up his position to Piastri in Hungary, Norris didn't make a big issue out of it. However, he has made it clear that he doesn't want team orders to favor Piastri when he should be the one benefiting. Norris's maturity and calmness will be key as McLaren navigates this delicate situation. Lando Norris has opened up about McLaren's team dynamics and his thoughts on team orders. He mentioned, "The papaya rules mean just don't crash, that's all. And yeah, there was no contact, though Piastri did a good job. I would love it if McLaren intervened to swap the positions, but it's not up to me." Norris acknowledges the difficulty of the situation, especially when it comes to team orders. As he explained, "It's tough because obviously I think as any driver you don't want team orders. You don't want things to just be played that way." Despite the challenge, Norris remains hopeful. "I wouldn't say we are running out of time, but time is going away slowly. I still believe we can catch Verstappen," he added. Norris was particularly confident about McLaren's performance at Monza, saying, "I still believe we probably had close to, if not the best car today in Monza." Although he didn't win, Norris noted that the team continues to work well together. "We're still helping one another, and I think that showed plenty of times this year." McLaren has allowed Oscar Piastri to race freely, which Norris acknowledges is a fair decision by the team. One key reason for this could be the influence of Piastri's manager, Mark Webber. Webber, who was Sebastian Vettel's teammate at Red Bull from 2010 to 2013, was famously unhappy with being treated as the second driver. He often had to give way to Vettel, even in situations where he could have fought for better results. Team dynamics and Piastri's contract. It's very likely that Oscar Piastri's manager, Mark Webber, pushed for a clause in his contract that ensures he isn't labelled a number 2 driver at McLaren. This seems to be something McLaren CEO Zak Brown accepted, and he has been clear that both drivers, Piastri and Lando Norris, are free to race under the team's papaya rules. This no-division approach was notably highlighted after the Monza GP, where no team orders were enforced, despite the pressure on Norris to gain points in the championship. With 8 races left, Norris needs to outscore Max Verstappen by around 8 points per race to snatch the Drivers' Championship. This challenge becomes even more intense with 3 sprint races included, which could offer a crucial opportunity for Norris to close the gap. Tracks like Baku and Singapore, where McLaren's MCL38 may have an advantage over Red Bull's RB20, will be critical for Norris to maximize his efforts. The question remains whether Piastri will support or hinder this process. It's clear that Piastri isn't here to follow team orders unless they are fully enforced, which may not even be possible if his contract forbids such arrangements. In Hungary, Norris followed a team order that cost him 7 points, while in Monza, Piastri did not let Norris by, potentially costing him 3 more championship points. Zak Brown doesn't seem to agree with Stellar's approach to team orders, and with the team potentially in the hunt for the Drivers' Championship, it's becoming apparent that a conversation with Piastri is needed. As commentator Will Buxton pointed out, if you want to attack the Drivers' Championship, you have to be ruthless. McLaren's best shot is with Norris, and in 2024, if they want to challenge for the title, team priorities may need to shift decisively in his favour. Brown's stance on McLaren's current driver dynamic is certainly controversial. He stated, "They are both young drivers who want to win. We have always believed in having 2 number 1s. That's always been McLaren's way. It can be difficult to manage. We've seen it with Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. They get along great. They do race each other clean, and it's philosophical. Are you a 1-car team or a 2-car team?" This philosophy has brought great challenges, as managing 2 top drivers is never easy, especially in high-stakes situations. Brown admits that the easiest path would have been for Lando Norris to dominate and avoid tough decisions on race strategy. However, as seen in Hungary, Norris didn't run away with it as he hoped. The strategy did work out for him, but giving up the lead to Piastri late in the race showcased McLaren's indecision regarding a serious push for the Drivers' Championship at that time. Realization too late. It wasn't until Zandvoort that McLaren began realizing they could genuinely compete with Max Verstappen. Had this realization come earlier, things might have played out differently. Now, if Verstappen wins the championship by a margin smaller than 7 points, McLaren may regret not pushing harder for Norris to secure the Drivers' Championship earlier in the season. McLaren's leadership has now informed Norris that he will need Piastri's support to challenge Verstappen for the title. Yet, in 2 key instances, Zandvoort and Monza, Piastri did more to benefit Verstappen than help Norris. In the Netherlands, Piastri's inability to pass Charles Leclerc gave Verstappen a solid P2 finish. And at Monza, Piastri's hard racing took points from Norris. These instances may have cost Norris critical points in his title bid. With all this in mind, it's unclear if Piastri will help or hinder Norris's championship campaign. Though Piastri is currently the 4th driver in the standings, his role within McLaren is pivotal. His fierce competitiveness and reluctance to be seen as a second driver could complicate Norris's path to the title. As Brown and Stellar navigate this tricky balance, time will tell whether Piastri will prove to be a major obstacle or an essential ally in Norris's fight for the championship. So what do you think of the tensions at McLaren? Comment below and subscribe for more.